With Jack Eichel's return tonight, how will the Golden Knights line combos look? VGK tries to halt a four-game Penguins win streak in this series, and predictions, plus our locks of the night. It's all ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cordasco and Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas each and every day, Monday through Friday. Thanks for making us your first listen. You can find us on Twitter at LockedOnVGK, at TDChrisG, at Tony Dasco. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And today we are brought to you by BetOnline.net, your number one source for sports betting information, for stats, news, and analysis. Well, Chris, I know that you're going to be in attendance tonight at the VGK Pittsburgh game. Press box, locker room, post-game presser, all of that. We really do look forward to your coverage of tonight's game as always. And Chris, Jack Eichel returns. He'll return to the VGK lineup tonight. He missed 11 games. He's back. Both Eichel and actually Paul Cotter returned to practice yesterday. Full contact participants, if you will. And Cotter suffered that upper body injury, as we remember, out for 8 games. And Cotter injured versus the Blackhawks. Your guy, Jared Tenorti, just kind of lit him up. So in any event, how will the line shake out? Oh, that's, of course, for your Blackhawks there. They got to do something, right? Okay, so how do these lines shake out tonight? Will Eichel probably be will he be on that top line? I know, and following Bruce Cassidy, right? We know that he likes to go with the, quote, hot hand, be it goaltending, lines, what have you. Will he break up that top line with Stevenson, Stone, and Amadio? How are things going to work out with Jack Eichel's return?
According to various practice reports, the balanced attack is what's going to happen. Amadio, Stevenson, and Stone will be staying intact. And then there is a shocker on line 2 that I did not consider in all of this. Line 2 is looking like Eichel, Reilly Smith, and Nick Waugh up on the wing. That's how they practiced yesterday. Line 3, we're talking about people we admire. William Karlsson, your boy, between Kessel and Cotter. I like that line. And then you have Carrier, Lecision, and Colasar on line 4. So the entire bottom 9.
Why do you like line 3?
Because I like Karlsson on line 3. I think Karlsson can do much better work on line 3 as far as being an offensive force is not the word, an offensive presence, while also maintaining his solid defensive ability. That's what I like about line 3. I think it's got a chance to give Kessel a little more of a punch, while Paul Cotter, Paul Cotter's been the punch for a long time.
Okay. One of the questions I have, I just remember we go back to preseason, right? And we had Karlsson not able to play with a different line, sort of sulking there on line 3. Remember, they did try him out there. I think he was with Amadio.
Amadio and Kessel, I think.
I thought it was maybe Ronbjorg or Kessel. Okay, so in any event, I mean, I don't know. I can't remember. It might have been.
Recall. And Howden was in the mix too. Keep in mind.
Okay, so is he able to get along there, not sulk, play better, execute better, moving down the line, or does he see this as a demotion?
I don't think he cares. Honestly, I don't know if I look up and down. So in one of our YouTube videos, the first time we were talking about Jack Eichel coming back maybe a week and a half ago and about what the lines might look like, I suggested the balanced attack, kind of like what they're doing. And I forgot who it was, but they said there's no way Jack Eichel's ego and blah, 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 demotion. And looking up and down this lineup, I honestly don't think there is anyone that cares if they're line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. I mean, listen, if you put Jack Eichel on line 4, fine, he's going to sulk about that, but let's be reasonable. It's never going to happen. So honestly, and once the game starts, it doesn't matter a ton anyway. we've learned if your line is doing well, you're going to be on the ice, or if you are doing well, you're going to be on the ice. And if you're not doing well, you're going to be enjoying the third period from the end of the bench, just sitting down there casually trying to look up, maybe make eye contact with the coach. Hopefully, maybe they'll see a spark in you or something, throw you back out there. So I don't think it matters. I think the team is buying into Cassidy still. At times, maybe it seems to be slipping a little bit, but the team, I believe, is buying in and they trust each other. This is a good group. And I don't think Carlson cares line 1, line 2, or line 3. And honestly, 2 weeks from now, it could be different anyway because of injuries. So it doesn't matter.
Okay. Will the minutes be proportionate to what they're used to playing, or how will they divvy up minutes? And the only person that I think would be upset about fewer minutes might be Marchessault, but he's not in the lineup. I'm just gauging just based on his temperament, et cetera. But will the minutes be proportionate? How will you divvy up these lines and time on the ice?
I mean, there needs to be a balanced attack for a lot of reasons. Number one, the best teams in the NHL, especially come playoffs, all 4 lines come at you and they come at you hard, starting with line 4, thumping you around and creating scoring chances. And then it goes downhill from there. As far as how will the minutes go and how should they go and how might they go, that's an all sorts of madness. And it depends on the game flow, right? If VGK comes hot out of the gate, they're up 2-0 early, they're going to rotate 4 lines the rest of the game. No one's going to really double shift. And it's just 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines. If the game is tied for a long period of time, going sometime into the second, if VGK is losing, especially by a couple of goals, that's obviously when the blender could come out. And just because Eichel is starting, quote unquote, on line 3 or on line 2, pardon me, there's going to be the hero line put together where you're going to see Eichel take Amadio's place and shift things around a little bit. Or other players, if they are doing well, you will see shifts and things like that. Where, early in the season, I was, especially the Seattle game, it was when they had the back-to-back home games. When Philly, Seattle, right? Philly, Seattle, I think was the rotation, and they both beat us, which that was awesome. But Philly, that's the game when he put the lines in the blender, benched Marchessault basically for the entire first, and the team ties it up and they go back to the lines. And then the next night, they stuck with the lines the whole night, and Seattle just, kicked their butts. So those days are done, though, of Cassidy sitting back on his lines. He's rotating and doing all sorts of interesting and creative things. I didn't see Nick Waugh on line 2. I like to think I try to think a little bit outside the box with these lines. There was no world that existed in my head that in my gold bar, muddied up brain here that yes, I was drinking it last night, folks. That's why I'm saying that. There was not a world that existed where Nick Waugh was going to be on line 2 tonight. And I think it's great. I think it's going to be interesting. And where we started and where we are, and that'll be a topic at the presser tonight, I think.
Okay, so who gets sent down for VGK? I know it was last night. I think I saw a bunch of those guys.
Forwards, so probably Ron Bjerg went down.
Ron Bjerg,
I mean, not a whole lot.
I'll go down. I'm not
sure. Paul was playing defense. Rem Paul, they already sent down.
Rem Paul's down. He played last night.
Freeze
is down. Yeah.
So and let's see what happens today too. Also, there was a bunch of transactions yesterday. Let's see exactly what happens today, because you never know if some of those were just some paper transactions to make a couple of bucks appear. And like I said, Jack Eichel slated to play, Paul Cotter slated to play, but until they take that pregame skate, I'm a little bit reserved. And if they call up a few players today, especially after the morning skate, maybe that means there's something else cooking. I don't know.
Okay, on the day that Jack Eichel returns, Max Pacioretty is expected to play his first game for Carolina. He's come a long way from that August Achilles injury, and so he's rehabbed. I've got a prop for you. The rest of the way, who scores more points between Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty?
Mark Stone. I thought you were going to throw Eichel at that. I was going to slam the door on Eichel if you were going to say that. I mean, are we including possible injury time and stuff like that too?
Just the remainder of the games, who scores more? And that would also include if they're healthy enough to play.
It's tough because, Pacioretty, there's so much firepower. I think you line him up with Aho, Svechnikov, Teuvo Teravainen. Like, where is Pacioretty going to go in that lineup? Because that Carolina lineup is absolutely lethal, and they still got money to burn right now. It's going to be Carolina. They come here March 1st, I believe. That's my daughter's second favorite team. So that's a daddy-daughter date night at T-Mobile Arena. We're excited for that when that comes. Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty, more points. Max Pacioretty is probably the safer bet, but I think it's going to be close. I think
that's
it'll
why
be close.
I came up with that matchup. Come on.
I think if you're going to handicap that without even looking, I think you're either going to juice Pacioretty about 35 cents, or you're going to give a 2.5 spread and go minus 110.
Okay. So yesterday you drew the ire of a lot of fans with your Robin Leonard tweet and having him on the back of a milk cart. What's up with that?
So we hit on this a little bit yesterday, and that's when the idea actually did hit me. And when I found 30 seconds, I had this weird smile. I knew what was coming. I didn't know. Now, to be fair, like I try to have fun on Twitter, but I don't have stuff that necessarily gets a ton of traction at times, but like I said, I just try and have fun with it. And this dang tweet is up to where are we at now? We're up to 3,604 views. And I didn't even tag VGK. I just, I tagged Locked On, and we retweeted it from the Locked On account as well. And it's it's making the grounds right now. So my perspective on Robin Leonard and why I did the milk carton tweets. We have heard nothing from him. And listen, we all wish him well. We're not insensitive to his injuries. We're not insensitive to anything in life he's going through. But he is a member of the Vegas Golden Knights that has worn, the crest, the shield, whatever you want to call it, in the last, 5-6 months, whatever it was, since his injury. Now, longer than that now, obviously. We're January. But point is, he was playing last season with us near all the way up until the end. He has been a very good member of this organization. I want to be clear about that. And he should be something, he doesn't need to do an interview. He doesn't need to, be out there every single day, but just something to show some level of support to this team on a public level, I think would be appreciated. And I think, there's two things here happening. One is the public side, and two, we don't know his relationship with the players. Maybe he is wishing him well, and maybe that was a bit insensitive on my end to not, take that into account. But from a public perspective, it would be nice. Now, people are saying, "Oh, well, you don't see Shea Weber doing it." Just stop it. That's not the argument here at all. Shea Weber is not a VGK. And then someone said, "What about Nolan Patrick?" I said, "Okay, fine, that's fair." But Nolan Patrick, I mean, who knows? Something could happen with him. We've heard absolutely nothing about that situation besides the updates at the start of the season. But point being, it would be nice if Robin Leonard showed some love. At this point, he is still slated to be joining the VGK, in the offseason and coming back and possibly reclaiming the starter's net. Call it what it is. I see you smiling there, Tony, but this is no different, in my opinion, than Laurent Brossoit. Laurent Brossoit, no one's going to trade for him when he was unproven coming back from this injury. So Robin Leonard, he's going to have to either prove it in camp, prove it on the ice, or something if VGK is going to move on him. Otherwise, who's going to take on who's going to take on half of that $5 million contract and give us something in return? I mean, future considerations. All of a sudden, could you imagine if we get a future considerations deal for Robin Leonard and they take his whole contract? VGK would absolutely love it all of a sudden, and they hate future considerations deals.
Yeah, for sure. But the one thing that just resonates in my head is Bill Foley talking about distractions in the locker room. Goaltending is what he pointed to first. And so I'm just looking into it. I mean, I don't think that things are going quite swell between Leonard and the VGK. And they missed his birthday tweet. Remember?
Yeah, I saw that. That's unconfirmed on my side, but I did find that interesting because, I mean, you would like to think things like this are, there's reminders set and there's a whiteboard that points everything out, and, whoever is in charge of putting these tweets out there and not acknowledging Robin Leonard is interesting. I think it's noteworthy. Noteworthy. I don't think it was an accident. I think that's maybe a fair assumption. I mean, it would be nice. And maybe that's why he's mad and he missed his birthday, Tony. Maybe that's what it is.
Coming up next, the Penguins have VGK's number. They've won their last 4 against the VGK. We talk about tonight's matchup right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. BetOnline.net, your number one source for sports betting information, for stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league that is out there, from pro football to the college football championship game to basketball to the NHL. We've got it all. BetOnline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can even find those on betonline.net. And again, we are the fastest, the easiest way to get all of your sports betting information. You can head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn a lot more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick here in Las Vegas. Chris covering the VGK game tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And we thank you all for making us your first listen each and every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That was fast. Okay, so the Penguins have owned VGK, and they've won the last 4, as we mentioned. The last game in this series against VGK, I think it was McGlynn to Kapanen. The last meeting, that behind the net pass, right, that came out in front, and they potted the game-winning goal. Tonight, Pittsburgh will be without, we alluded to this a little bit yesterday, Tristan Jarry. He injured his leg in the outdoor game. It was kind of a very strange injury. His right leg just kind of went limp in that 2-1 loss. Casey DeSmith. Hey, if you have a chance tonight, I don't know if Casey DeSmith is starting. Probably he will be. They brought up a backup goaltender, but if you see him tonight, check out his mask, please, if he's wearing the same mask that he wore in the Outdoor Classic. Okay, if you're a baseball fan, on his mask, he made it all Pittsburgh. And there's an image of Willie Stargell on there, and there's an image of Ralph Kiner, a Baseball Hall of Famer. So
pretty cool.
Definitely check that out. But what do you think?
I'll go in the tunnel when they come in and out for a pregame and see if I can get a look.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool if you get a photo, a snap of that, as they say. What do you make of tonight's game? Penguins limping in, so to speak, at 0-3-2 in their last 5, and they have lost third period. This is what makes the game intriguing to me. They have lost third period goals in 6 out of the last 7 games, and VGK finally has really come together there in period number 2. So different dynamics there between these two clubs.
Yeah, no doubt. And Pittsburgh, I mean, always an amazing draw. I mean, you get to see Sidney Crosby, again, a generational talent, along with Evgeny Malkin. I mean, it's just going to be a star-studded affair, right? Cliche as it sounds. No Chris Letang, unfortunately, and he's been out. And I mean, this is obviously and more magnified now due to the events that happened on the football field. But Chris Letang suffering his second career stroke, and he's been out all this time. So you definitely
and he was back skating on the ice, believe it or not, and then his dad passed away. So they've been tough. Very sensitive about just asking him to come back. I guess he practiced. He was trying to prepare for the outdoor game, which would have been amazing, right?
Yeah,
to get him back in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And then his father passed away. So, oh man, that's a tough
one. No,
and
I mean, just a little Letang story. I mentioned this before. In warmups, a lot of times we go on the visitors' side when me and my son are at the game, and I notice he definitely makes it a point to just flick pucks over to the fans, but he'll use the adults. Like he'll point at a kid, point at you, shoot the puck to you, shoot it to the adult, and give it to the kid. But then he actually thanks the adult for doing it. He acknowledges, the appreciation, which is small and trivial as that sounds. You don't see a lot of that. So it's just nice that you feel human when you're around, someone like that. Going up and down the Pittsburgh Penguins lineup, Crosby 43 points, not a surprise there. Casey DeSmith is 4-7 at 2.99. Yikes, that's and then Jarry, who's probably out, you said. So they'll have whoever else is going to be the goalie back there. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But Jarry was 15-5 when he was playing, so he was getting it done. Otherwise, as far as points go, Raquel 23, Malkin's got there. If Evgeny Malkin, he was an 11th hour deal. I mean, they were almost going to let him walk in free agency, and they got a deal right at the bell for him. You got Jake Gensel back there, who's always going to find ways to irritate and perform. And also looking at Pittsburgh, if the playoffs started right now, they would be out. They would not be in the playoffs. The East is absolutely stacked, and the Metro especially, as far as cracking that playoff egg. And that's why those teams, when the playoffs do start, they're set up for deep runs. Because I mean, they're playing playoff games now almost. Pittsburgh at 19-12-6, 44 points, a +11 overall for goals, is on the playoff bubble right now. They would not make the playoffs. That's crazy by me. But again, they're also only 12 points from catching Carolina to lead the division. So that's how tight that is. But it'll be a fun night at T-Mobile. Looking forward to it. I see a very high scoring affair. I think you got some firepower coming back. You might have a weird start to the game, right? Because Pittsburgh's last time on the ice was the outdoor game. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. VGK has had a little time off, which, that's wonderful because their schedule is so tough. But you also got new players coming back into the lineup. So, if we're going to look at this from a betting angle, maybe you bet the first period under a goal and a half, under a goal, whatever. The different sites will offer different juice for that. So going low to start the game might be good. And then as the game progresses, I can see the scoring opening up. So maybe I'm assuming the over under is 6.5, probably 120 on each side or something like that. So take the under for the first. And then if it's a low scoring game, slam the in-game over at 7.5 at plus 350. That's the way to play this game.
Isn't that our next segment? Okay. In any event,
we're talking about betting next.
No. So it could be an emotional night for Pittsburgh, for the Penguins, because DeMar Hamlin is a Pittsburgh native, means so much to that city. This is their first game back on the ice since that horrific incident on Monday night. And so they might come out with number 3 shirts on or something, I'm sure. And I'm sure that there will be some, I'm hoping, at T-Mobile Arena, there's some sort of an observation where, the fans, this incident has impacted me in so many ways, not just in football, but in every sport. It's really, I don't know. It's hard for me to go back to watching sports the way I was watching them before this tragedy happened this past week. And so hopefully this is a good way to get back into a flow for the NHL, for our city, as well. Everyone's impacted by it, everyone in every sport across all borders. And so maybe we'll see number 3 jerseys, which would be really nice.
I would expect a fair amount of Buffalo Bills hats in the crowd. Vegas obviously is a melting pot from people all over the country and the world, for that matter. But I think you'll see some love for number 3. Maybe a kid with a poster on the glass or something like that. And it's good that the support is out there. And like you said, it's what happened, how it happened on a national stage in a very marquee, important game. It was an absolute, perfect disaster as far as, how many people saw this. And, you just hope everyone can, I'm sure the right thing is to say, you just, first of all, we hope he gets better. That's first, foremost, and everything that matters. And then you go uphill from there.
Yeah, it's going to be strange. I'm going to the Raider game on Saturday, and it's going to be very
They've
strange.
had the number 3 on the side of Allegiance.
Yeah, that's cool.
I saw that in all the football stadiums, and you'll see something today. I wouldn't be surprised to see just like in the presser or something like that after the game, like some of the VGK just casually wearing a Bills hat or something like that, just to show some support. Obviously, yeah,
that's awesome. Also, for the Penguins, Jake Guentzel has been in a major slump. Last 7 games, just 2 assists. We remember early in the season, right? Didn't he have 8 goals in the first 10 games? And so they need him to get started again. And I guess that they were talking about the team being sort of lethargic in the outdoor game on Saturday, which again,
weird
that's a
game.
one-off.
Weird. It's weird.
It's a very strange game to prepare for. Teams dressed up, walking into the locker room, so much pomp and circumstance, and
there's no routine about it. There's no routine about that. I think that's
a difficult game to play. So I think they will be back. The Penguins are more focused in this game tonight for sure.
Yeah, and you wonder how routine does mess with the athletes' heads, right? Tonight is Pride Night for VGK, and they're going to be wearing different jerseys during warmups, using different hockey sticks that have the tape on them and things like that. And then it's a different routine, right? You go and you change instead of whatever you normally do on a night where they're wearing their normal jerseys. They go and they sit in the locker room, they do whatever their routine is, because these players are all about routine. I catch this all the time in the pregame skates. They do the same thing at the same time on the clock. Before the game starts, the boys are all playing soccer, having a good old time doing whatever it is that they do out there. And now you're throwing just and again, it's a very wonderful cause. I understand that we're not talking anything about that. Please don't take this down the wrong path. But sports are about routine, and the outdoor game, the one Pittsburgh just played, the one VGK is about to play 361 days from now, whatever that works out to be. There's nothing routine about it. And, you got to find a way to perform still. And when that routine gets thrown off, it could impact results.
For sure. And coming up next, we're going to take a look at our locks of the night. We will have predictions. Maybe you could check out the line, the betting line, because I thought it was a little light yesterday in favor of VGK.
I'm going to go 140 but before I look, but I'll look right now.
All right. That'll all be coming your way next. Stay with us here on Locked On Golden Knights. If you're looking for a delicious treat, but you don't want all of the fat and the calories, then you got to try a Built Bar. Built Bar
Been a while.
For the first time this year. Yes.
Send us a package.
I know we need care packages in the worst way. So we just got through the holidays, right? And I know that our goal is to eat healthier this year, and for Chris to drink healthier whenever he's doing there.
Oh no! No! That's not changing.
If you are like us and you want to eat healthier, but you don't want to compromise taste, then I got to tell you what, you've just got to try a Built Bar with Built. Healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they are very delicious, and you won't think you're going to think that they're not good for you because they taste so good. So again, this is perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in a lot of unbelievable flavors. Churro, I haven't tried the churro yet. Peanut butter brownie and coconut almond. Did you try the churro? Did we get churro?
I said Cheerio, Tony. I said Cheerio.
Cheerio. And that's for, of course, our Brit friends, lads and lassies there. And so you could head now to your nearest Smith's or Sam's Club and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. Now available there. Only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, a whopping 17 grams of protein. And again, you could pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, coconut puffs, salted caramel, brownie batter puffs, all now currently at your nearest Smith's Market. And if you're close to a Sam's Club, they also have the 13-bar box with the hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. And you can thank us later. You can thank us later. It says it twice in the copy.
Listen, it's good. It is good. It is like, I know we're sponsored, but they are really good. They are filling, and they will. They're good. And now that they're at Smith's, I'm going.
We just need, send us goodies. Send us goodies.
I'll buy them. I'll buy them out there at Smith's. I got no problem with that.
I didn't know that they were at Smith's, so definitely in my range there in the wheelhouse. Welcome back. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas, and we sure do have a lot of fun on this show. It's time for predictions for tonight's game, and also we've got locks of the night.
I predict the Vegas Vipers XFL will play at Cashman Field.
Cashman Field. That's a strange configuration.
We go there out for the soccer games all the time, and now the football is going to be there. I'll check one out. It'll be fun. Yeah,
it'll be good to see the configuration there. But that's one of your predictions. Okay, so now let's talk about predictions for tonight's game.
So, I mean, like I said, I feel pretty. I think I might have minus 120. Minus 120. It's a very short line tonight.
It's so short. That's a very, very short line.
It really
is.
I
said 160. I said 160.
This is a national game tonight too. I'll bet this is a TNT game. Which that means the start's going to be later. And
no, who's calling the game?
It'll be the TNT people. It won't be the ESPN.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Let's give me 10 seconds.
It's a national game, but in any event, okay.
So, like I said, I feel good about my pulse on the game as far as it being a weird kind of muddy game to start. It's not national tonight. It's not. It's local, so that's good.
Okay.
But I think at the end of the day, it's still going to be a high scoring game. 5-3 VGK with a William Karlsson empty netter.
Oh my goodness. 15 games, 1 empty netter in that span against Winnipeg.
And that's what gave me the grand salami, I think, right?
That put the grand salami. No, it was Marcia, so I thought over half a puck, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Okay, so who do you have tonight? So 5-4 VGK.
5-3. We're covering.
Okay, I'm saying 5-4.
Puck line.
I don't want to be like you.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't. It was
kind of
agreeing. People thought the fix was in on this. the fix was in on the show when we both said 4-2-1 for the 7 games.
Right. Well, people got mad at us for always predicting the other side too. Like, so I'm never listening to Lockdown again because they always predict the other. Like, guys, come on, just
people
stop.
like it when I pick the other side though, because VGK that typically means a VGK wins.
Tony, people are going to be happy no matter what, because if VGK loses tonight, they're happy that you're wrong. So you're screwed either way.
Of course. Okay, so your locks of the night.
You want to go first?
Is Leschyshyn in the lineup? I forgot.
Line 4.
Okay, yeah.
Line 4 center.
That's what I thought. I put Leschyshyn in there, and I will go with Reilly Smith.
I'm just glad my phone finally recognizes Leschyshyn for the autofill whenever you pick him. It used to drive me nuts. I had to Google how to spell his name and everything, and finally,
at least we don't call him
Leschyshyn.
Leschyshyn.
It's no, it's if you remember like this, Lech, or how do I do it?
Leschyshyn.
Leschyshyn, like as far as the spelling goes. Like that's how I do these words.
Spell phonetically. That's it. No. I do that all the time. Okay.
I mean, I guess it has to be ceremonial, right? To go with the boys coming back, Eichel Cotter. Doesn't that seem like
seems like that could work? Hey, I wanted to ask you on the power play, does Mark Stone, and he'll play the bumper now, right?
Yeah, he's been in that bumper. He's doing well there. He's doing really well.
But him and Eichel, I like the chemistry before Eichel got injured, is what I was alluding to.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think as far as your PP1 unit, I think you're going to see basically Eichel, Stevenson, and Stone back together for the power play. And then whatever you want to do on the backside, Pietrangelo, and I mean, geez, load up with Reilly Smith back there, even that'd be an absolute lethal. That'd be a lethal unit. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we've got the NHL All-Star voting happening. The first 32 All-Stars, one from each team, will be announced tonight, and one from each team, and then one goalie will be selected in advance from the 4 different divisions. So,
okay.
So 32 players, one player from each team, one goalie from each division.
It's so fair. Everyone gets a participation trophy.
Well, LT's got a very good chance of being him, or whatever they say today, of being him.
What about the Kings goalie? Not Jonathan Quick. The other guy that they got. Forgive me for forgetting, but he's been absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, he's definitely doing well. So by January 11th, Google that so that we act like we know what we're talking about. But January 11th will be the cutoff date for whatever coach team is in the lead. That head coach would be the all-star coach. And so 4-point lead for VGK over the LA Kings, aforementioned Kings. And so it appears as though Cassidy, and the game in hand too, so Cassidy should be the head coach. Now, the all-star vote now, there will be, so that comes out to 32 players accordingly, or whatever they have. And then 12 other players will be selected by the fans. And you could vote starting today, hashtag NHL All-Star Vote, with the name of your favorite player, Chandler Stevenson.
Phoenix Copley, 9-1.
Yeah. Okay. Phoenix
9-1.
I just can't.
Good Lord. That's
9-1. Okay. Do you think he's going to get the nod?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if there's like a game qualifier or something like that. If there's a game qualifier, if like it's 15 games or something like that, then fine, whatever. But Copley's got to get it. He's having just an absolute phenomenal season, and this is where this unknown goalie kind of comes in, right, and just sweeps the deck and is amazing. And remember when Pete DeBoer got to coach? It was last year. DeBoer, I believe, got to coach the All-Star game.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Remember he was hungover.
And that's where I was going with that. Yeah, the boy. That's why the Pacific was absolutely awful in the game itself, because he made the comment, like he came right out and said they all got wasted at Wynn or resorts or wherever they were hanging out, and it got a little bit ugly. So, but now they're going down to Florida, I believe, where the Panthers play, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's in Florida. But who do you have then? So, who would be the representative of this team?
If let's just say there's only one representative that's not the goalie. I mean, Jack Eichel's the chalk just because of the name.
Right.
I think Mark Stone is of the position players who should deserve it the most, or or Alex Pietrangelo. I mean, I could even make a case more for Pietrangelo than Mark Stone, to be honest with you. With all the minutes he's been playing, he's over. I think he was at a point per game clip, obviously, based on his stat line. I'll look at that right now.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see who VGK comes up with and who Bill Foley comes up with. And maybe it's Jonathan Marchessault. So
at the end of the day, I'll tell you right now, Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, and I think
Chandler Stevenson, Logan
Stevenson's going to be the votes. I think Stevenson's going to be the vote, and we're going to see all the players campaigning for him and wearing hats. So. Vote for Chandler and all that stuff.
They need to rally around him. He got screwed last year. I could say that.
So all right, I'm gonna put something weird out there. So at a HSK game during one of the intermission entertainments, Lucky, their mascot, just comes walking out. It's kind of strange and quiet, but he's wearing the Vote for Pedro shirt. And does the whole dance from that weird movie with absolutely no meaning whatsoever. What is that movie
called? Come on, dude. I know Vote for Pedro. Let's go.
Yeah. So point is, I wonder if they'll do something like that. If Chandler Stevenson gets the vote in, something funny like that at one of the intermissions. That's where I was going. And Pietrangelo, 31 games, 28 points. Pietrangelo, honestly, over Mark Stone, I would say, if we're only going to take one right now.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. And again, though, but Petro has not played every game. Stevenson has. Stone has, right? Every game. And tonight we are in mid-season form right now.
Literally.
Because it literally is mid-season. Why does VGK, WTF, I think already. WTF.
I've got a gold one, but I'm not going to put it out there till tomorrow. I got a gold one too.
Okay. So they just announced yesterday that the Fan Fest is on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. Did you have any previous knowledge that this was going to be happening? Did they let season ticket holders know? Or did they just announce this yesterday? I mean,
about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
We make plans around here. Okay, so you did receive that earlier. Okay, so I can't blast that. But the other fans, so this is basically for the season ticket holders. They wanted them to get the heads up, make your plans, and now the rest of the scrubs can go out there.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you guys right now, this event's downtown. It's nice to see the players, and if you want to, your best opportunity is to line the red carpet if you want that up close opportunity and get there 3 or 4 hours in advance. Otherwise, it's downtown. It's Fremont Street. It's going to be crowded. It's going to be very crowded. Fremont Street. If you want to take your kids down to Fremont Street or not. I love this city, but I would not recommend Fremont Street for families anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Napoleon Dynamite. I think we're out of here.
There we go. Good job, Tony. Good job.
It just takes a while, man. I'm just waking
up.
The
movie that has there's when we go to Raising Cane's, there's a movie poster of that up. And I think their advertisement was the meaning is no meaning of the movie or something, like the movie with no meaning. There's no point to that movie, and it's awesome. It's so dumb.
For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cordasco. More movie reviews on the way tomorrow. Don't forget, it's WTF. It's What the Friday. It's also our 500th episode on the show and the end of the first half. We've got so much coming up.
Let me time that. Perfect.
We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.